Hey YouTube, hey YouTube, hey YouTube. How's it going, everybody? My name is Jason Ward. I'm from MakingStarWars.net, and this is my co-host for today, As It True. He's a big Andor fan, and he's just gonna be hanging out there, playing Nintendo the whole time, not helping out at all. So we have a couple of things that hit that are kind of cool, that are fun, kind of fun, not super fun, but kind of fun. And the first, that there was an international trailer for Andor, which has a little bit, some new stuff in it. Well, let me get my headphones so I could hear it. Blast my ear holes out. Here we go, and I'll play it right now. Here it goes.
They're coming for all of us. We have to take them down. Every day we wait, they get stronger.
From the creators of Rogue One comes the next Star Wars event you won't want to miss.
Right now, they're afraid. Let's take them by surprise. I'm tired of losing.
Star Wars Andor, original series now streaming.
So, sounds like Bix is going to want to fight. Bix is going to want to take them by surprise. Storm them. So that was kind of cool, which I thought was sort of, I don't know, I don't call it a revelation. It's going a bit far, but we weren't sure if Bix was going to be like an in and out character in the series. We knew that she filmed and then she kind of goes away, and we thought maybe she was dead for a time, just because of that, though, not for any reason that like we thought they filmed a death scene or something, but because she just kind of bounces out earlier than most on filming. And then she said that she comes back next season. So unless it's more flashbacks, we could assume that Bix will continue on, and I guess maybe some kind of rebel freedom fighter. Rick says, I want 3 games a year, a game for every show. That's fair. I don't think you're asking for too much, but you are asking for the impossible from these people. But we'll get into that pretty soon. And as it says, Star Wars fans have me heated this evening. Why? What is making you heated today, As It True? What's pissing off As It True? What does it take to make As It True's blood boil? Is it a lack of DLC, or is it the fans? You'll find out in this next episode of the Making Star Wars show. My buddy and me. Here it is. Old Man Bespin Bulletin. Looks like he's got some Yeti footage, if you ask me. Footage of the Yeti. There it is. I don't know. I'm not sure what I'm looking at right now, but I think it's Bigfoot. It's Bigfoot. Okay. So, exclusive Star Wars Skeleton Crew speeder stunt scene. Star Wars Skeleton Crew has been filming. This is Bespin Bulletin. He ain't a fooletin. Star Wars Skeleton has been filming since the end of June, and production seems to be going swell. He said well, but I say it's swell. Oh, one side note. There's all these like rumors going around that I keep getting sent, just on like a side note, about Acolyte being in big trouble, you guys. Acolyte hasn't even started filming yet. If Acolyte doesn't start filming next month when it's supposed to, then maybe those rumors have something to them. But right now, it sounds like a bunch of crap to me. And thank you, Star Wars Santa, for telling everybody to like the show today. That would help. It always helps. I appreciate that. All right, back to the article. Skeleton Crew has been filming since the end of June, and production seems to be going well. There's been very little leaks, and even unofficial images from the shooting locations haven't made their way online. The same being for Ahsoka. However, a number of weeks ago, we witnessed a stunt scene taking place for the series at California State University, Dominguez Hills. The scene we saw briefly play out involves Ravi Cabot Conyers character. In this case, it's a stunt double riding a speeder bike before being flung off. The scene was rehearsed and played out a number of times throughout the day. We spotted it, and we captured a few of those takes on camera. Unfortunately, we have no additional details of the scene, such as what causes Ravi's character to get thrown off the speeder bike, but at least for us, it's exciting to see a small piece of the action unfold in front of our eyes. You can see the video below. So here we go. What? Oh no! I'm going too fast. Whoa! Oh no! Okay. That looks like it would be fun to do. But it reminds me of in the beginning of The Omen when little Damien's having his like little birthday party, you know, before the nanny hangs herself and goes, "It was all for you, Damien. It was all for you." It reminds me of that like that little train, like little thing that they put him on, like little like roller coaster thing. Kind of has that vibe. But look at him go. All right. We believe this is the same character played by Ravi Kabat-Conyers due to the clothing appearing to be the same or at least very similar to the character pictured in the official image of the Skeleton Crew released image. Yeah, I would say that the hair is definitely the giveaway. Although that could be 4 little Bigfoots behind Jude Law here because they decided to show us this bullshit picture instead of an actual picture. Because you got to keep everything really vague or people won't be interested, you guys. Very little is known about Skeleton Crew. All we know is in official capacities that the series takes place in the Mandalorian timeline and follows a group of kids who are lost in the galaxy and are attempting to find their way home. The only cast members confirmed for the series is Jude Law, with unconfirmed reports that Ravi Kabat-Conyers and Kanto and Kriana Crater, United States of AI, have been cast in the series along with by series created by John Watts and Chris Ford. So there you have it. That there was a little kid on a roller coaster going, "Wee, I'm crazy." So yeah, and I want 3 games a year. We already talked about that. Yep, and Star Wars fans have them heated. And then you all like the show. You all did what Santa said. He can see what you're doing. He knows what you're all about. Hasbro Pulse Con is Fridays. There will be indie and Star Wars news. I expect 1 indie figure reveal. Like, here's Indiana Jones. Retirement garb. I don't know. And that's not me making that classic old joke that people making, you know, oh Indiana Jones on the geriatric blah, blah, blah. I mean, it's just like, what are they going to call the first unique costume from the Indiana Jones thing? I think he's retiring. Hey, Ducky, how's it going, dude? Are you going to win Star Wars Santa's predictions poll this time? Because you throw that shit up before. And so everybody's rooting against you, especially me. No, okay. Oh, that's Best been rooting against you. He confirmed it. Hey, Thorn, how's it going? Why are you all in my room? We're watching you sleep. Are you getting these same rumors about Acolyte being in trouble? I don't understand where it's coming from, and don't believe any of it has any truth. What do you think? And like, same. No, I'm not. Santa, says Bespin Bulletin, who ain't a Fullerton. I know who's pushing that and have been for like a month. Okay, I don't know who's pushing it, but it doesn't sound like it has real legs. And like Rick says, it does sound like some Mike Zero level of shit, if you ask me. Yeah, it does. I'm definitely with you there. Nope, I'm getting crushed by Baymax. Fucking Baymax, dude. What are we gonna do about it? You know, he's not. I don't think he's here today. So what are we gonna do about him? How are we gonna deal with him? We're gonna make fun of him till he feels like unsure of himself. Maybe we gotta workshop this, Ducky. As the truth says, several indie figures have leaked, codenamed Baden, Oxford, Anhalt, Bavaria, Bremen, and Cambridge. I wonder if it's like some of it's like the schools that they're from or something. You know what I mean? Like the characters or whatever. But yeah, the code names are interesting, but ultimately probably might not tell us very much. It's kind of funny, like codenaming the indie figures. I mean, I'm interested, but in truth, it's a bit far for it. Junkbox says, Professor indie action figure with possible glasses and action I'm grading papers. Yeah, we need the girl with the eyes that say I love you, and you could like move the lever on the back and her eyes blink and reveal I love you. I play with that toy. Whenever I'm feeling down, I'm like, oh, look, she loves me. Pre-order could have been live for Indiana Jones figures this Friday. Yeah. But I also think unless there's like something exclusive about it, Indiana Jones figures have never been, difficult to get. Not really. So it's not really like that big of a deal if you ask me. I mean, I don't even know if I'll buy them this time. If my son wants them, I get them for him. Or my daughter wants them, get it for her. But I'm kind of doubtful. They've never done that well. So, Insider Gaming. Disney wants a new Star Wars game every 6 months. Sources have suggested that entertainment giant Disney wants a new Star Wars video game every 6 months. It's understood that Disney wants one major AAA title and one smaller game per fiscal year, which is something Lucasfilm is set to deliver on. What does that mean? Set to deliver on? Because it ain't up to them, apparently. The ramp up in video games development for Star Wars games comes after EA lost its exclusivity access to the franchise. Thank God. Love Battlefront, but man, I could have used a lot more video games. So far, 8 Star Wars titles have been announced to be in development, many of which do not have a scheduled release date. And I am no expert in the video game stuff, so if I'm overly cynical, that's just because I've been hurt before. Every Star Wars game in development. Amy Hennig's game, Skydance Media. That's the one that is rumored to be the reworking of Ragtag in some way, which makes sense. Untitled FPS by Respawn. Open World game by Ubisoft. I'm an open world game fan for the most part, so I'm excited for that one. Star Wars Eclipse by Quantic Dream, who were just bought out by, officially, I guess, by a Chinese company. I don't remember what it was called. You guys probably do. It was like Sundries Express. We used to make, cream candy, and now we're in video games. Knights of the Old Republic remake. Boy, that's a good one right there. You could totally make a whole career off of that one. You just keep saying over and over again, they're going to remake it, you guys. Then eventually they will. So, yeah. Bestman says Willow toys only. By the way, Willow is in 4K now on Disney Plus, thanks to Bestman. So definitely get on that. And Disney only wanted a Star Wars game once a year when EA had the exclusivity. Yeah, do you think they only wanted it once a year, or was it only reasonable that EA could deliver one a year? Were they like the parents who didn't aim high enough? If they had told EA we want 3 games a year, would they have just got us the one at least? You know what I mean? Instead of 0 most years. So anyways, Jedi Survivor, the Jedi Fallen Order sequel from Respawn. That one's just pretty much a given success. Star Wars Hunters, which was delayed again by Zynga. Man, Star Wars Hunters, just don't need Star Wars Hunters. I wish they had just signed a deal with Fortnite to make exclusive maps in Fortnite, like permanent fixtures that don't go away, Star Wars maps. And then we could take our Fortnite Star Wars characters and play them there and make it where you have to be Star Wars in that. That would be the best thing. A Star Wars game in Fortnite, a Star Wars mode. Untitled strategy game. I love strategy games. Also love tower defense games and kind of miss playing good ones. It's been a while. There's one on PlayStation I used to love. I can't remember what it's called. These 8 games are the only titles that have been announced, with sources suggesting that there are several more in pre-development. Some of the already 8 announced titles are believed to be sometime away from release, too. In fact, some of these titles are believed to be at least 4 years away, which in video games is always the case. Everything's fucking 4 years away. Quantic Dream Star Wars Eclipse seems to be one such title, with sources citing that the game will be a development nightmare for the studio. Issues mainly stem from Quantic Dream's engine, which is apparently inadequate for such a large-scale project. Such problems have led sources to believe that Eclipse probably won't release until at least 2026. So, or maybe just fucking accept the fact that it's not going to be the kind of game where you go around hacking and slashing shit like it's Fallen Order, and just get it out. How about that? An obvious choice for the not yet announced project would be a Mandalorian game, which was teased last year by Xbox, and then the tweet's since been removed. See, I don't think the Mandalorian game is as viable, personally, because these games are supposed to be in canon, and you have basically two people spearheading all of Mandalorian and its era, and they don't got time to go and make that shit interface. I think that's the big problem, personally, and why it might not happen. I've heard of some rumors of a Mandalorian game behind the scenes for a while now, but so far these rumors have seemed to stem from speculation due to the success of the series. But if anything changes, I'll update. I bet you there's been all kinds of pitches and models and demos made. I wouldn't be surprised about that at all, though. Other smaller titles will likely be aimed at a mobile market, or smaller games like Star Wars Squadrons by Motive Studios, which, boy, if you cut out the story mode of that, it was really good. You know, they should have just kept it VR. Whatever the future holds for Star Wars, one thing is clear: there's going to be a lot of games. So I hope so. It would be cool, you know. But Thrawn says, why would they flood the market like that? No, I think it's just like one every 6 months. I think we can handle that. A big one and a small one, sort of like a AAA, you know, a Fallen Order, and then here's your, you know, your cell phone knockoff game or whatever. I think that's kind of what it. I think that's what it is sort of saying. As the truth says, for the past few years, people have wanted 2 to 3 games a year, like the early 2000s. Now these people are screaming burnout, milking, rush, oversaturation, like Disney Plus, etc. I'm losing it. Yeah, that's the whole thing. Is we all have different thresholds for this stuff. At the end of the day, keep giving it to me. But I will say the early 2000s, I don't consider to be. There's nostalgia there. There was fun to be had. Sometimes more fun. Sometimes better to have some bad fun than no fun. Completely concede that point. But it's like for every really good game, there was like one unplayable mess. I'm going to say there's probably 2 unplayable messes for every single semi-good game. And like, how many of those games really like stand the test of time? Not very many of them. And so I kind of respect what they've done in more recent years. Like, I feel like Fallen Order, the VR X-Wing game, Battlefront 2, those all ended up being pretty fucking solid games. Like, those are games that I will probably revisit in some capacity in the future again, just because they exist. Love the idea of like Jedi power battles. Love the idea of most of the Clone Wars games, but they didn't really hit the mark for the most part. And then you have, you know, everybody likes to suck at the D of Knights of the Old Republic, which to me, it's all right. I don't know. You know, not knocking anybody, not saying we should have a canon of what everybody likes, but to me, it was just all right. Dale says, where did that like button go? It appears 60% of the viewers can't find it. Those sons of bitches, Dale. Thank you for calling them out. Appreciate that. Sith Cat says, any interesting rumors about Andor? All I know about Andor on my end is that they are like last week they started building like the first sets for season 2. And there was a Tony Gilroy interview today, or not today, but over the weekend, I'd say, in Rolling Stone. And I was going to read it on the show, but he was a bit like iffy on it, you know. But there was a couple of funny times where like they tried to get him to like say what his favorite Star Wars movie was. He's like, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do it. I was like, yeah, it was pretty smart. And then they asked him about like a Michael Clayton sequel, and he was like, nah, that movie legitimized me, and I'm not gonna taint that. And then he was just basically saying what George said. And they pointed out in the interview that making Star Wars is really difficult because you have to design every single aspect of it. And so it takes time. And like, that's basically why he's not directing and show running at the same time. He's like, every single time you put like a kitchen, he's like, you have to have a meeting about it. And 17 meetings about it, I think he said. And he asked the question, you know, what does a bodega look like on Coruscant? It's a good question. And it's like, but you know, but that's why Star Wars is harder to make than Marvel. Because in Marvel, you just put a fucking 7-Eleven usually, for the most part, if it's on Earth, which, you know, they could pivot to all the time. And so that's like a big difference with Star Wars stuff. But I do think that it might eventually start to get easier for them as more locations get more established and so on. As the True said, I just ranted in a video for the first time in years. Oh, As the True's back. Everybody, not that he needs it, but go watch the As the True video. I looked at the Avatar poster when I said that. And let's watch him rant. What made him mad? Is it just that whole thing of people wanting, not wanting? That's, I think, like to some extent, like our problem as a society. Even I'm gonna go out there and go Joker as a society. Is that it? We see a couple of things and we go like, that's what everybody's saying. You know, it's like what Trump uses. Everybody's saying, but he just like had got one guy to do it. You know what I mean? To say this thing he wanted or found it, you know, thesis driven research, if you will. But it ends up where we think that, but it's just like somebody, you know, it's not one, it's a couple of people, but for the most part, the general fan base, if they're going to buy it, then it's right. And that's the thing about these Star Wars shows. People watch them. So it might be too much for them. They don't have to, though. They just should grow the fuck up and just move on and go watch it when they feel like it. You know, every time, like, for instance, like that Lord of the Rings show, I don't really care about Lord of the Rings. And I was interested in the show. I watched the first two and I had an okay time. I didn't dislike it. I tried to start the third one last night. I just said, no, you know what? I'm good. I'm having a good time with House of Dragons, having a good time with my Andor. And, you know, I don't have the time for this show, but I'm going to watch that show someday. Later on, I will. I'll get to it. But right now, I'm not going to. But, you know, I'm not going to go and, you know, yell about it on Twitter or some shit. I watched Bodies the other day, and I was like, you know, it was kind of fun watching everybody from Twitter get fucked up. So if you ever want to watch everybody from Twitter get fucked up, I recommend watching Bodies. Joel says, people are jonesing for a 6-inch indie. That's what your mom said. I'm kidding. There was kind of a good one. I don't know if it was 6, it might have been 9, but at Disneyland that I got, and they had 2 versions of it. One was the Raiders version, and one was like the Temple of Doom version. They're pretty cool. Those are the ones that my son had when he was like a smaller kid that he played with. That's what she said. Dale saw it. Theron says, I'm just waiting for the Jawa role-playing game. Hey, you know what? We could just get Star Wars role-playing game and make it the rule that we all have to be Jawas. That would really switch shit up. Hey, dude, how's it going? Quentin says, hey, buddy, been digging the music, man. Sent you a message about it. Some Weezer vibes. Thanks, dude. I appreciate it. Yeah, I got, man, I've been recording a lot. I was like in the mountains over the weekend. Did a lot of recording up there. Was pretty nice. And makes me mad when I listen to my old stuff because my new stuff is so much better. And I got to get that Johnny on it. Johnny on the spot. Hey, Leia, how's it going? How are you? Hey, what's up, dude? Battlefront 2, I still play on the rig. Yeah, I love Battlefront 2. But, you know, the valid criticisms early on, there were, you know, I thought it was kind of, I did like at first when Battlefront 2 first hit, and it was like you got random cards. I didn't buy them. I didn't put money into it. I was just like, I got the random cards. It was kind of fun because like now I was the guy who could shoot like thermal detonator balls. And then I would be surprising on some maps. And most people didn't have that move at that point when it first hit. So I was kind of like okay with it. But then there were the people that were like, you know, min-maxing, so to speak, on everything and like dropping in money to get all of the cards and stuff to make it like, so that way they could like make the perfect build. And then it became sort of ugly. But by the end of that game's life, and when I say the end of the game's life, the game is still, you can still play it. It's still going, but of its development, I should say, it was really, really fucking good. And they really messed up by ceasing to make new stuff for it. I think that was a huge mistake on their part. I think they lost out on a lot of cash. And I think they're idiots. As it says, all the prequel kids are blinded by nostalgia. They think anything 1999 to 2005 is all gold. All the EA games are better than most of them. Yeah, they are. They are. And like I was saying, like, it's like, do you want a game, a bad game, or no game, though? That's what it comes down to. I mean, and everybody wants AAA games in reality, but the Star Wars past has been inexcusable. The people who were in charge of running the games dropped the fucking ball like continually over and over again. Like, it was a shit show. So I'm not saying like, oh God, you know, that was how it is, guys, just accept it. I'm not saying that. I think it was poorly handled by far. At the same time, though, to look back at if LucasArts, I love LucasArts, but if it had been really on, it would have been a successful company that would still be around. And I mean, there's a lot of reasons why that happened, but it's really unfortunate that it's not around. But fuck, I mean, I bought more games I was pissed off about as in the early 2000s than not, you know. And sometimes it depended on which platform you played it on too. But yeah, this is a clusterfuck. That's why I like my nostalgia goes back to like Super Star Wars, the original Super Empire Strikes Back, the original Atari game. Like if we just went down the list of all the games, most of them are shit. I mean, overall, just completely awful. But I mean, there's some, you know, there's some stellar shit in there at the same time. Planet Fitness says from one of my sources, they're in talks for another Lego Star Wars game. Oh, I imagine they always are. So, do we get in Coruscant tomorrow's episode? We do. The 4th episode is Coruscant. It sounds like, by all stretches of the imagination, they are doing a series that is going to lead into Rogue One, but will exponentially grow. Will pan out. And Gilroy admits in that first interview, he's like, you know, seems pretty small, but by the 4th episode, we start to move out. And so we're going to get to Coruscant, and it's going to keep getting bigger. Like, you know, we heard stuff about the Coruscant episode and how it's like I said, there's like people like eating, there's like dinner parties on Coruscant while people are having their planet, you know, bombarded, and they're starving to death. It's kind of like the old criticism of the Phantom Menace. Show us the people on Naboo, you know, starving and suffering. Show us that, so what she's doing matters. This, it's going to show that contrasted with a bunch of rich people at a dinner party, and how you're going to see how people like Mon Mothma and Stellan Skarsgård's character just can't, you know, stomach it. They understand what they're doing, and they can't sleep at night in that world. So I think that sounds fascinating. Planet Fitness says they talked about the Disney shows being featured in the game. We'll see. I mean, in terms of like Disney shows being featured in game, like it wouldn't make sense to do, of all of the stuff from Mandalorian, like a AAA Mandalorian game would be great, right? But it still has to like fit in the canon, and it has to be like a good story and that kind of shit. So it's kind of a weird one, because you could go back and do a prequel game, but you could also take the first 3 seasons of Lego Mandalorian, turn it into Lego Mandalorian, and, you know, put some stuff from the other shows in there too. That would make sense. That would seem logical. But the Comic Binge says, but as the series grow, all the assets they have will be available for them, and at least have templates to use. Yeah, like it'll start to be like, you'll be able to look at like, what is a you know, a toothbrush holder look like on Coruscant? Well, what did it look like when we had to do that one on Tatooine? And then you start to kind of go like, okay, here's what we can do, and then also what fits into this like society. Still probably going to require a lot of art design, but yeah, I mean, eventually, like Star Wars kind of gets its habitats, its environments, its biomes, and then when you do another one, it becomes like, why, why Jakku when you got Tatooine, stuff like that. And but a lot of that stuff, that design will work on both. Mandalorian Legion says, I can't wait to see Coruscant and Andor tomorrow. I know, me too. I'm like really excited for it because I mean, I love in Rogue One when we see Coruscant for that 1 second, when like little Jins with their mom and dad and what's his name, the guy in the white, the bad guy. I got his name right now, but yeah, like seeing Coruscant at all is like fun. It's like I am nostalgic for Coruscant, and I'm excited to see it like in this era with Mon Mothma, and then exactly what it's like, Imperial Coruscant. It's not something we've really got to see outside of Jin's house. I don't think. I mean, and Return of the Jedi when they're overthrowing it, they're tearing down the statues, but that's not what I mean. It's a different time. As it true says, much like Disney Plus shows, some people think they need to buy and play every Star Wars game. A variety of genres is good. We can't like everything. In 2 years, we've had 0 games and they want less. Good point. That is a fair point. 2 years, 0 games. Like, yeah, that is crazy. And a game a year is good. And but like I said, like when they put out like the AAA and then like the smaller game is probably going to be like a VR game, or a cell phone game. And so it's not even like the same market necessarily. And yeah, you don't have to play everything. I mean, in fact, you don't have to fucking watch every Star Wars show if you don't want to. There's too many Star Wars shows coming out for you. Don't watch them. Personally, I could probably use one a week, 52 weeks out of the year. I would not mind. But, if they were at the quality that they're at. Quentin says, us Lord of the Rings feel the same way about you, Star Wars. Uh-oh. Did I go too far with my Lord of the Rings later comments? Ducky says, probably at least one release will be the long-anticipated Grogu dating simulator. Yeah, Grogu's like, yeah, I'm 60. 60 now. Time to get a wife. Hey, what's up, Tim? Quinn says, might have to take a break from all the streaming in October. I'll be participating in Beatober. Gotta make a track for every day of October and upload a small reel. Oh, shit. That's a lot of work. Hey, Chris, how are you? All hail to the king. Howdy. Planet Fitness says, hey, Chris. Tim says, hey, Jason. I say, hey, Tim. And this is the good Tim, not the lame Tim that turned Cassian in over a woman. It's a Batman reference. King Chris says, Battlefront 2 is still in regular rotation for me. They did an incredible job releasing stuff for and fixing it from its original launch state. Yeah, completely. And like the only thing that happened like in that game is like once I had everything like maxed out and had all of the, everything kind of done, I was just like, well, I'm playing to play. And then me and my son loved it, was we put it all the time. But then I think we stopped playing all the time once that last EA Star Wars game came out, Fallen Order, because then that was just like he became obsessed with that. My kid likes to go find bugs and stuff. A lot of bugs in that game for him to find. He enjoyed it. As it true says, you couldn't even pay money for cards in Battlefront when it actually launched. It was tainted by media hysteria. It kills me that was the game that was used instead of more egregious play to win games. Yeah, I don't remember exactly how it exactly unfolded. I remember when it hit being like, this isn't as bad as they're making it sound like it is, But at the same time, I mean, it is a bad model. So, I'm glad it killed that more or less in a big way. But it's a bummer it happened on Battlefront 2 and Star Wars. And it's a bummer that the game got better and was fixed. And I don't think got a lot of love for it. But Battlefront 2 is still a great game, and I agree. Yeah. Very good for people who play games casually. Yeah, I mean, it's also just a good game if you just like Star Wars and like the environments and the levels and shit, you know? But Thrawn Talk says Jedi Academy is still played in my house. Don't fuck around. Thrawn's in the Academy. King Chris says, yeah, it's one of those games that every time I turn it on, I have a blast no matter what I do. And KOTOR is still played in KOTOR 2 is still played in my house. See, you just never know what's gonna work for people. KOTOR 2 did not work for me. But hey, if you enjoy it, I am glad. As it says, Battlefront is still one of the most played games on PC and console despite no updates in 2 years. Plenty of people don't give it any credit. It is the most complete Star Wars game we have got. Yeah, I think that's actually like true. Like in the big picture, as time marches on and we look back at video gaming and Star Wars historically, Battlefront 2 is going to be one of the ones that actually like is playable, that has like stuff to it and has some kind of like life and, you know, longevity. So yeah, it's really dumb that they didn't continue just to update the game to give us Mandalorian levels and Mandalorian characters and whatever the TV show was and do that whole thing. I love Fortnite. I love getting the characters in Fortnite. No Andor in Fortnite. It's kind of a bummer. Sounds like Luke's coming, but not Andor. But you know, I would rather have played it in a Star Wars game in reality. Like I would rather have had Obi-Wan Kenobi from this last series and that game instead of a mod. So, but yeah. Super Fry says the reason why Andor is so good is because I caused Kathleen Kennedy promise Tony Gilroy an HJ outside the pants while eating a popsicle. Sounds hot. Sounds like they got it going on over there. As the truth says, another ironic thing is there is hate towards these new games being announced too early, especially if canceled. Yeah, just a few years ago they wanted to know early. Yeah, see, that's the whole thing. Is it's like, not saying you're doing it wrong, but it's like the loud people aren't always the same loud people, and people are inconsistent. Like they don't want to get their feelings hurt. They don't want to get their hopes up, then have them destroyed when the game's canceled. But then they'll follow leaks about it either way. So it's almost impossible. I mean, at some point when the game's like getting into full swing and there's people working, it's like going to get out. They have to like, this is what we're doing. So all those people have to do is just check the fuck out and stop following it. And then when the game comes out, you know, when the trailer hits, like the real trailer, then start getting excited then. But yeah, you just can't win. You can't win with the discourse on like Twitter, you know, they're fucking crazy and inconsistent. And if you just took them and made them into a person, they're absolutely insane. That's why I pretty much don't tweet anymore. I'm just like, it's just too crazy. Excuse me. Meanwhile, EA announced all of their games 6 months before release, and people said they wanted to know earlier. Whatever they do, it's an issue. Yeah, it's an issue for someone. You can't please everybody. Star Wars is too big. It's too big. You do anything in Star Wars, and it makes someone mad somewhere. You know, just like, you know, you say anything, you know, I like cake. Well, you should like cupcakes, fat fuck. You know, they'll just be like, you know, they'll take it somewhere. But yeah, it's hard to find like a reasonable, compassionate, and stable Star Wars community in this day and age. I don't know if there is one in totality. Tim says, I finally got my name in Star Wars and it turns out to be a scumbag. Hey, dude, but like I said, man, I mean, you got to go out with Bix, so I'm going to say that scumbag made it, though. Robert said, a woman. When I was a kid, I thought Jack was dating Grisham's daughter, not banging his woman. Laugh out loud. Movie still made sense with my child brain rewrite. Jack, you're my number one guy. I still don't know if he says guy or guard. I have no fucking idea. As the truth says, there was a lot planned for Battlefront through 2020 and 2021. And I was told this is as far back as 2018. I know, like, wasn't Ahsoka and Ventress supposed to come out? Like, didn't they even have like modeling done, or was that? I think I saw it on your channel, right? If I'm not misremembering, it's been a while, but yeah, I mean, I would have been all about it. I would if they put it out today, I'll give them $20 if they want to give me that like 2-pack of new characters. I'd be in. It's really, really strange. I guess they just decided, oh fuck it, we'll just do Battlefront 3 someday. I heard a lot of rumors about Battlefront 3 at times. Sounds like it all fell through. That's why I never liked reporting on video games in the big picture. Like everything changes or doesn't happen, or what leaks is their ideal and then not the reality, and then after that, then you get the reality, and then you feel like you're backtracking and stuff. So I have a lot of sympathy for people like As a True and Bespin who like cover the games, because fuck, it's a headache. It's a big old headache. But yeah. Well, anybody else have any hopes, any dreams? Tomorrow we're gonna come out tomorrow late. We're gonna come in, we're gonna talk about Andor's episode at midnight tomorrow night. You know, not tonight, but Tuesday, we're staying up. And then if you're a big nerd, Wednesday morning at midnight on Tuesday night. Tuesday at this is too confusing. We're staying up tomorrow night. As the truth says, yeah, Ahsoka, Mustafar, Ventress were next after Scarif. Far more would have come after. The team making it was small too. Battlefront 3 pitch got shut down. All the core team have gone their own ways. Yeah. Over. It's the way it went. It's a shame, because I mean, that should be like a platform, you know, and like there's just so many things that they could have done that would have just, I mean, imagine if they had added Battle Royale like Fortnite into that, you know, like the money making opportunities that they would have had. I'll be real, man. They're Hasbro ain't gonna get a fucking dollar out of me. I'm not buying an action figure from them. I'm just not interested. And you know, too much of the same over the years. But fuck if I wouldn't spend $10 on a, you know, Ahsoka fucking figure or you know, costume or whatever, avatar or whatever you want to call it, to play in that game in a battle royale setting and so on. Like they could make so much cash. They left so much money on the table because they're stupid. Like that, the managers, I'm sure the people making the game all exactly know how it should have went, but they're fucking stupid. They're just plain stupid. I mean, I dropped so much money into Fortnite, and it's like in my situation where I'm a dad with 2 kids and all 3 of us are into it. I fucking make so much money. They just don't get it. Don't they like to get paid? Don't they like to eat? As the truth says, we were told in advance the game was ending a few months before we were with the devs, and they were so excited about what they had coming. I do remember that. Yeah. Battle Royale was actually made in early 2018. It was scrapped because the fan base would not have accepted it back then. Oh man, see that was the kind of situation where the fan base just had to play it. That was the whole thing. Like, you know, like I said, I love Fortnite, but I also really enjoyed PUBG when it first came out. And when Fortnite changed to Battle Royale, I was like, I don't want to play a fucking PUBG clone. Fuck that shit. That's a ripoff. And then my son wanted to play Fortnite. So they're like, okay, play it with you. So it was free. Why not? You know, it's what he wanted to like do. It's his dad time. I'm going to, you know, give it to him. And I was like, oh shit, this is better. This is more fun. This has more character to it. And now here we are. And it's like on my weekends, my son's like, okay, dad, I'm done. And me and Bestman are like, we got to get to level 100. We're still playing it. But I mean, Star Wars just has so much more like even storied opportunities in the battle royale, like mode and concept, you know, dropping enemies behind lines, having to, you know, get something, or just the fight to the end thing. You know what I mean? There's so many maps and ideas that you could just come up with that would fit in the Star Wars galaxy in a battle royale like setting. Ridiculous, but I don't know. But I am excited about a bunch of games, you know, and it'll just become a thing, you know. At some point, we'll be like, oh, we're going to look at the reviews. What are the reviews saying? Is it complete shit? For me, if a game is like a solid 7, like a real 7, and it's Star Wars, that bumps it up to like, you know, 9 territory for me. A 7 game, but Star Wars. And I'm probably going to be happy about it. But there's so many genres of games. Like, you know, my Age of Empires, remember Galactic Battlegrounds? If they put that out today, something like that, I'd be so into it. Tower defense game, would be so into it. Love first-person shooters. I love VR, you know. So much left on the VR table. You guys seen that VR game Bone Lab? Ooh, I think that one's going to be a game changer. I think Bone Lab's going to change shit up. And a lot of faith in that one. That one looks really good. And a lot of modding is going to be able to happen on the Oculus Quest 2 or Meta Quest 2. And that kind of stuff, you know, that kind of platform is going to make a lot of fun Star Wars stuff probably for it. So I'm kind of looking forward to that one, even though it's not really a Star Wars game, but I imagine Star Wars mods will come immediately. Like if you play Blade and Sorcery in VR, a lot of Star Wars mods on that game. Like that's all my son does all day is just like want mods for Blade and Sorcery, because he's got like a lightsaber and he's fighting people as a Jedi. It doesn't get any better than that for a kid. And it's weird that they haven't picked up on that yet at Lucasfilm. Jimmy says, as long as there's no Han Solo dancing, I'm down. Hey, you know what? Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of that whole thing. I liked the idea of it, but I didn't buy it. I was like, nah, I'm good. Yeah, that's true. So 7s are good games. That's why it's a 7 over the last 15 years. 7s have become bad thanks to the internet. It has to be really bad or great. If we get 2 7 out of 10s a year, we will be happy. Yeah, and you and I are on the same page. Like it is. It's like to the internet, everything's a 10 or a 4, you know? And it's just like, no, not really. Not really. And I'm you know, of the opinion in terms of like grading anything at all, that nothing's a 10. Like I think a 10 should be absolutely unobtainable. Unobtainium. It should be an avatar element. That's how rare it should be. I don't think anything is ever a 10. You look at something and go, well, that could be better, therefore it's not a 10. So that's where I'm at. So to me, like my real 10 is a 9, you know, in actuality. But at the end of the day, like the way I actually look at games themselves is, did I lose myself for a little while? Did I have fun? Was it so immersive I was just into it? Did it make existence a little bit more bearable? Then that's mission accomplished. You did a good job. You know, you made something fun to do, something to break the monotony of life. And if it does that, then hey, boy, I'm happy. You know what I mean? As it true says, I don't rank or rate Star Wars game stuff or games. I like all Star Wars films a lot, and that's all there is to it. Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, I pretty much feel the same way. And you also can't really put a number score on preference. You know, like Empire Strikes Back, it's the most respected, probably well-constructed Star Wars movie of all time, at the academic level, right? But fuck, I really do prefer Revenge of the Sith. It's not better, but it's my preference. And so I don't know how I could even score these things and put them in order for the most part, but I do pretty much love most all of it. So Ducky says, couldn't agree with more what a perfect 10 is. Also a great magazine. Thrawn Talk says, nice Avatar reference. Thanks. My Avatar posters from D23 are right here in my peripheral vision, and it's fucking distracting me today. I keep seeing it. I said Avatar earlier. I want to ask Rob. I'm like, Rob, do you want these? I need to ask Rob if he wants these. If Rob wants these, I'm going to send them to him. People put that shit on eBay, and I don't know how much these ones went for, but the Star Wars ones you should sell for like $100 plus. I was kind of hoping for an extra. I wanted a Star Wars one for right here. I still want that Andor one. I went to see Rogue One because they were giving the poster out. My theater didn't. No Andor poster for there. Went to D23 hoping to get the fucking Andor poster for right there. Didn't get it again. So I could have just went on eBay and bought one, but I ain't doing that. Ari says, really hope episode 4 is a banger. I think if you liked the first 3, I think you're gonna I think it's gonna continue to feed you. It's gonna continue to enhance what is working for you. If you didn't like the first 3, then I don't think the 4th one is necessarily going to, now the show is great. But I do think the 4th episode's probably going to be, you're going to have that feeling that more stuff is happening, like the machinations of the story are moving at that point. So, Ari says episode 4 is make or break for some. It's really important. Yeah, I think that the vast majority, and once again, I could be guilty of what I said, like where the loudest idiot sets the discourse and we think that's what people are saying, but are they really? So here's kind of how it breaks down for me in my real life. Okay. Like my regular people, my drummer, smart guy, just a kind of a dude, but a smart guy, watches UFC, likes baseball. You know what I mean? Watches Game of Thrones and all that shit, but he's just a dude, and loved Andor. Fucking loved it. Said, oh man, this is great. My dad didn't hate it. Said it's kind of boring, kind of slow. Nothing happened. My kids said, I don't think this is for me. My kids watched it though. It took them a bunch of times. They kept like kind of watching little sections, and they would get into it, but it lives in the moment too much for them. Like they want it faster, more intense, I think, than what that one does. I got 2 7-Elevens I go to, trying to diet, right? And there's this practically 0-calorie orange drink that I like in the cups at 7-Eleven. And so I always end up, if I get hungry, kind of use that to mitigate eating, because I drink a big ass fucking glass of juice. It's 30 calories at the most, depending on how much ice I put in. And so anyways, though, I wore a Star Wars shirt, and both the guys always hit me up about Star Wars at both of them. For guy on my left 7-Eleven, he said that he liked it. He's all, oh man, he's all, this is a scary Star Wars. He thought it was scary Star Wars, because I think all of the stuff going on is kind of freaky to him, the paranoid one. The other one said, man, I don't know. I want Mandalorian to come back. And so, and then I watched the series. I'm no joke. I've had it on 5 times, and I've watched all 3 of them. It's just letting them go and watching them. And so it's working for me a lot. It's working for me really, really well. I think it's aimed at someone like me more than someone like my dad. I don't think this is aimed at the Mandalorian people. I think this is trying to get the people that aren't all about Mandalorian. And I have a hard time explaining myself on Mandalorian. I like Mandalorian a lot, but it's kind of dumb, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just kind of what it is. It's sort of it's kind of the Star Wars for everybody, for sure. And this one, it's not Star Wars for everybody. This is really, this is like the backstory of Star Wars. This is the hardcore lore kind of thing almost for the rebellion. And so I'm super interested in it and super invested in it, and liking it a lot. And but I can go and watch Kenobi and be completely satisfied by it, because I just got what it was doing. And that's what I try to do when I'm grading something, or how I I try to like step away from what did I originally want, because that becomes irrelevant really quickly. What you originally wanted, what you hoped for. And then I just look at what are they trying to do here. And like that's why Book of Boba Fett I consider to be not a successful story in totality. Great moments, but they were trying to do this flashback thing. They were trying to make it deep. They were trying to give it levity. It just didn't have it. And then Kenobi, I think, told that story, and Kenobi works for me. You know, I'm not saying it's a 10. You know, it's not perfect at all. It's not perfect in its visuals, but at the same time, I'm into it. I care about Obi-Wan. The story makes me care about Obi-Wan, and I follow it. I'm into it. This one right here, though, this is a higher quality of television than we've had in Star Wars. I mean, in terms of like high quality, deep storytelling, this might be like the most hardcore thing we've ever had. I mean, in certain ways, this is what the make Empire Strikes Back sound like. So I think this is for people who really like Empire Strikes Back like a lot, because this feels more like it's on that level, but it has no spirituality in it, and that's what I think will probably separate it, you know. And so we'll see though. As the truth says, also gamers wanted games to be many hours long to get value for money. Games have gotten so long and drawn out that it's reversing. A selling point of new Assassin's Creed is it's a shorter game. Laugh out loud. Yeah, I just want a quality game. Like I love it when a game is, you know, has a lot of depth to it. I also love it when I can like play through a game, you know, in 20, 25 hours and really be like, I did that. I'm good. But also, you know what? I loved it and I want to keep playing. I want to do the side missions and I want to make it like into a 65-hour long game or plus. Then I like that too. But it just, yeah, it depends on what it's telling you it is. Like if it's telling you it's Breath of the Wild Star Wars and it's 20 hours, you're going to be mad, and rightfully so. But if it's not selling itself as that, you know, that's like the whole thing. Like Andor. It's not selling itself as, oh, if you fucking loved Baby Yoda, you're going to love Andor. Like they never sold the show like that at all. And fans tend to rope-a-dope themselves all tired out and cranky with their own ideas rather than what something is. But there's a big cameo in 4 apparently. I'm curious as to what the big cameo is, because is it really a big cameo? Or because that's really dependent on who you ask if it's big. That's what she said. Quinton says, love it. I'm going to finish watching it. Wait, what are you going to finish watching? Andor or Lord of the Rings? I don't care if it's good for a bit of watching. As the truth says, there was concern with Fallen Order that it was going to be too short. These next few games won't have that issue as much. We don't have time to spend 100 hours on every single player game. Yeah. I thought I had no problems with Fallen Order's like length and overall with its quality for the most part. You know, it was a good game. I had fun. You know, yeah. When you go back to it too, and you like look at it, like they did a really good job with these environments. It really is cinematic. Like everything in it, like that opening on that like junk Star Destroyer like planet place. I don't know what you call it. It looks great. Ari says, not gonna lie, it's literally really fucking dumb that Mando has gotten delayed like 2 to 3 times. Gotta say, Arya, I don't think Mando's got delayed. We don't know. We don't really know what's been going on. Like if they haven't given us a release date, I mean, they gave us like a window, but have they confirmed any further that it's not February for sure? Have they really been like, you know, because I think they shouldn't give a really long window after Andor personally, because Andor is so serious, low, you know, low action, maybe, but you know what I mean? It's like a different vibe. I think it would be good to get to Mando not long after, and then let it. I don't think people would be like, oh, thank God, I hate that. I don't think that's going to happen. I think they'll be like, oh, cool, this is fun. I'm glad to have fun again. It's fun to have fun. King Chris says, I like Andor a lot, but to be honest, I enjoy the more Kenobi Mandalorian styles of Star Wars. Yeah, that's my soundbite for life right now, or at least for right now, is I love this. I don't want everything to be this. Everything could be this style, but I think Kenobi done in this style would be unbearable. Like this style with a depressed guy in the desert, I don't want that. I'm good. That would be too depressing. Would not be fun. Would have zero fun to it. But it doesn't. Just like the Star Wars games, the shows, I want like a spectrum of stuff. I'm down. Give us a peer out Star Wars comedy at some point. Make something fucking funny. Like, I'm cool with that. You know what I mean? Just tell us what it is. Sell it for what it is. So, I feel like I just got a flash from my thing. Arya says, wasn't the comic character in episode 4? I don't really know where that came from. And if it's a comic book character, do we consider it a big cameo? I don't know. I know people that have seen all 4, and no one really ran to mention it. So I'm not sure how big it really is or how important it is, Like somebody I know who saw, anyway, I can't get into it. But Seth Nico says, I'm waiting for Ragnarok in November. That was supposed to be a DLC to God of War 2018 originally, but it got so big they decided to make it into a full game. That's pretty cool. I enjoyed that. I mean, I played the first God of War games. I haven't played like the last one because I didn't have a PS4. I think it was a PS4 that the last one came out on, and I didn't have it, so I didn't play it. But I enjoyed the original one, and I had the one on that one of the handheld devices. I can't remember which one it was now. Junkbuck says, cross his fingers for Star Wars horror. Yeah, exactly. Like Star Wars and horror. There's no reason just to not make stuff in these genres and to have fun with it and not give us the same stuff over and over again, which I think they've done a really good job on the television shows and the films. I mean, as critical as I can be at times of the sequel trilogy itself, I like one of them, I love one of them, and I am very lukewarm on one of them. But they don't all feel the same. That's what I will give credit to. And Rogue One and Solo, a Star Wars story, they don't all feel like the same films. It's not all just more of the same, all exactly or anything like that. So it could be that way. They could get their winning formula and then just beat it into the ground, But yeah. So, but I'm not sure, Arya, what to make of the Andor cameo thing and the comic book reference and all that kind of stuff. Like, for instance, if Ray Sloan showed up in it, right? That'd be cool. I love to see Ray Sloan. Would it be a big deal? Would be a big deal to some of us who read the books and like Ray Sloan. But would it be a big deal to someone just watching the show? They'd just be like, "Who's that?" You know what I mean? There's a character. And so Quinn says, yeah, it's on PC now, though. God of War PS4, I mean. Oh, okay. Yeah. I gotta get a PC. My computer setup here is getting a little bit dated, and but I got so much stuff I need to spend money on before that. And but I need to get a new computer setup going here, because I could do so much more on the show if I had it, and I could play God of War. But I was thinking the Mac. This is a Mac I'm on right now, and I just can't even run video really well with the camera at the same time. Just the MacBook's just no, just won't do it. Yeah, it also beat Red Dead Redemption 2. God, Red Dead Redemption 2 was so good. That was if I ever got a Star Wars game that was like that, that would be my favorite Star Wars game ever. You know, I don't think Rockstar will ever do a Star Wars game. Probably, I don't think they can. And they got like developing their own stuff. I don't even know if I would want them to step away from developing their own stuff, even though it takes them forever. But if I ever had anything at the level of Red Dead Redemption and GTA, I'd be very happy. But I also think that like if you add like all that stuff is real world stuff, right? You're just almost spoofing a version of anything from Earth or from Los Angeles or Miami or, you know, whatever, Hollywood, whatever. And with Star Wars, it all has to be like developed. So like if they ever did do it, you'd have to be like, it takes place on this one planet and here's everything on that planet. Because if you made it multiple planets, then the scope would just, I think it would take them 20 years to make that game probably. But Hunkbox says they need to do the Marvel approach and have each film, TV show pick a different genre and experiment. I think that's sort of how it starts. That's how it begins. Like when you hear about the Andor pitch, it was supposed to be Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid. And on, you know, if you came to me right now and said they're doing Butch Cassidy and Sundance, Butch and Sundance as K2 and Andor, I'd be like, okay, cool. That sounds fun. But, you know, at a certain point, it just kind of becomes like the Rebel TV show. So I'm glad that they went in that direction, the more Gilroy direction. But I wouldn't be surprised if in the next couple of years we do see like that horror, you know, Halloween special or something like that. Because it really would make people happy. I mean, if you did like Death Troopers for 4-part series in October, introduce some throwaway characters, put them on the ship, let one survive, and see what happens from there. You know, that kind of thing. It would be cool. And I also think it would be cool if they did it and they got like an actual horror director, a low budget horror director, and let them use the leftovers so it feels low budget and it feels like a good horror film. But well done with a little bit of a Star Wars twist. Apparently the cameo is going to ruffle some feathers. Yeah, I saw that tweet. I hate that shit. Just fucking tell us. Just say who it is if you know. Don't play this insider outsider game. It's so fucking elitist and tired. I fucking hate it. That's why I always tell you guys everything that I can so we can have a conversation about what's going on. But it's like just that whole thing. It's just, oh, it's going to ruffle your feathers, but I'm not going to tell you. Well, maybe enough to ruffle some feathers to let you fucking tell them. That way they could get the fuck over it and maybe enjoy it. That's what I say. Quinn says that Guardians of the Galaxy game was fun too. I didn't play that, but I think I would like it. Junkbox says, wasn't Massa Media playing a big part in Andor? I remember you and Star Wars May talking about it. Yeah, Meg reported that she heard that Massa Media was in it. And that Massa Media was in it. And then Bespin Bulletin put out sort of a cautionary follow-up saying, I heard from a source. I believe this is how it went. I heard from a source that, you know, is not necessarily the most tried and true, maybe. I can't remember if that's what he said exactly. Something like that. Who said Royal Guards are in it. So it kind of like we started to paint a picture here of Massa Media and Royal Guards, like, you know, and people go, oh, Palpatine. But I say no to that. I say not, at least not till the end. Because like I said, I think this is supposed to be like a slow burn. And we never got Palpatine in Rogue One. I feel like you end up with a show where it's a thief stealing something. Then his world opens up a little bit. And it keeps opening. Like we start off with the guy in a village. And then the galaxy's politics come to him. And then we end up at the end with him being the guy who lives with Jyn, the plans from the fucking Death Star, and saves the galaxy. It's a big story, but it has to keep going like this. It can't, or like this to the top. It has to do the pyramid, and we get to Darth Vader after he dies. So I feel like getting to Darth Vader before that would be a tonal mistake. And even maybe Tarkin. You know, I say like maybe top off with Krennic. That's what I say. This might sound dumb, Ari says, but I miss stormtroopers or just overall the Empire. Can't wait for episode 4 and to see them perhaps deployed on Andor's current planet since the cop sucks. Yeah. I think that's where this is going. I think we're going to see Andor put on that world, and then Stellan's probably going to go back to Coruscant, deal with Mon Mothma, and I think we're going to have a juxtaposition of people starving on the barricaded planet with, that. And we've heard about some characters that are like cameo-esque in nature. That I'm not going to talk about because it's just like not my scoop. It's not my story. Not trying to play that fucking, oh, I'm going to ruffle your feathers. But there's been stuff, but I just need to like know more context for some of that stuff. But I don't think the cameos are gonna go in the cameo direction of like, oh, look, guys, it's Ponda Baba. I don't think it's gonna be like that. I even don't know if I would call them cameos based off of some of the stuff that's like going around. But once again, if it came directly to me, I would just tell you exactly what I was talking about, but I didn't. So I got to respect my friends, and I do. Seth Nico says, the story in God of War 2018 was a masterpiece. The camera also never cut away and transitioned seamlessly, like the movie 1917, which no game has done before to my knowledge. Oh, that's cool. I like that Rick and Morty commercial where Rick starts to put the God of War makeup on and references the game. But I liked last night's Rick and Morty episode before with when the two moms fall in love. Wasn't that good of an episode overall. The joke was sort of like played out very quickly. But the last night on Rick and Morty, they get nighttime cells that do work for them while they sleep. I thought it was entertaining. I was into it. I had a good time. Oh my guys, new Andor. I can't say. Yeah, right. Ari says, who the hell plays Masamita? Masamita asked himself. Duh. Seth says so. Ezra. Sith Cat. Meow. Says the cameo rumor might come from a YouTuber who was one of those invited for special screening. So he might not be able to reveal the character, I think. Well, here's the thing. Is the people that went to special screenings, to the best of my knowledge, only saw 3 episodes, what we've already seen. So they don't have any, to the best of my knowledge, don't have anything extra. Journalists in bigger positions, they're the ones who got the 4 episodes. And because they basically want them to review the first 3 and then bite at the next part, the next arc. So that way the articles and the coverage is like, and then stay tuned. Whereas the people that got to go to the screenings, I believe Meg got to go to one. We got the Bespin Bulletin Boys in the one. And, they got to see the first 3 episodes, like as like a little mini film on screen, which is rad, and I can't lie. I really wish, like, looking at what Gilroy's doing, I wish that if they called this like a movie series. Like, I wish that those first 2 were just a movie. I wish we just got like one a month of like hour and 10, 20-minute long Andor movie for each one of these. I think they would play better. I think they do play better in totality as a big whole. I said big hole. But I think that we're going to find out tomorrow night. Is it satisfying getting this one thing one part out a week? 1 per week. Sorry, I'm getting a little bit of heartburn. Too much coffee in the morning. But you go and you just do it that way. It's like, how are we going to take this stuff? I'm kind of excited though to be able to like actually like live with each part like longer, So yeah. But I think tomorrow night is going to be nice in the sense that we get out of that environment We get out of that world. We get away from Cassian a little bit. Not that that's not that Cassian's bad. There's a reason to want to get away from him. Just that there's more characters to explore, and we're gonna get to like see Mon Mothma and learn about her life and that kind of stuff. I think that's gonna be cool. So that's just me. But we will see, and I'm excited. I think I'm gonna do a show tomorrow. I don't know if I'm gonna wait until tomorrow night just because, but I'll probably do a show tomorrow. I think I will. I think I will if there's stuff to cover. Arya says, I'm just really happy that Rob really enjoys Andor. Yeah, I think that this show is the flavor of television that Rob tends to spend time with, like, and myself included, you know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna watch Game of Thrones style television and HBO television for the most part, but Star Wars can be my dumb thing. And I say that with love, but that's where I could watch, popcorny, pulpy stuff is in Star Wars. And that's where it's more palatable to me than, some CW show or something. But man, do I love that Cobra Kai, that last season. I was like, those guys are fucking masters at milking melodrama. So, Bespin's like, I think they got to end it next season, and he's probably right in terms of like get out while it's good. But I'm like, I don't underestimate these guys' ability to fucking milk the story threads that they have. All of a sudden, like I said, Mr. Miyagi has a son he didn't know about. And then, oh God, here we go. You know what I mean? It just keeps going. And Star Wars works on that same level, but we require the visage of this, the sophistication with a lot of it that it doesn't need. And that's why I love Mandalorian. Like, I love that about Mandalorian. Mandalorian comes closer to that kind of vibe. But on this one right here, we have like real characters. It's very grounded and super real. And that's cool. And I think that the story is going to become like, why is Andor doing what he does? Like, why does he do it? Why does he die on the beach? Like, what made it worth it? Who was he dying for? I think when we look at all of this, we're going to see the people who've died and the ones who are still alive. Because like, when you get down to it, like, if Bix is out there in the galaxy somewhere and he dies on that beach, but he did that thing, he saved Bix. Like, that's like in to him. And also, my other theory is that I still think B2 EMO is going to become K2SO. Like, he's sort of an inverse of him. Like, he lies, whereas K2SO is accidentally honest. Not that K2 can't lie to stormtroopers, but you know what I mean? And so I'm kind of wondering, but the fact that he speaks, and they sort of seem to speak kind of the same, different but the same. I'm curious if we're gonna have any kind of evolution, where like does B2 get destroyed and he takes that chip and uses that to hack the security droid, and then they kind of become this amalgamation of the two, you know what I mean, or something like that, and that kind of gives birth to K2. Because I think that they had to have an angle to hold K2 off for the whole season, right? At least that's my hope. I think that could be fun. At the same time, it could just be that Andor, that's what works with this character, and that's Tony Gilroy's preferences, right? Ari says the minutes per episode were bigger than the leaked images we saw. Okay. So that's cool. I believe the leaked images that we saw were actually real. Probably Disney just maybe had an estimation, or maybe the times were right, but maybe that the screeners that went out didn't have international credits attributed, possibly. But I haven't really looked at that. This is the first time I'm actually hearing of it. So perhaps episode 4 is above 50 minutes. It's completely possible. It's completely possible, Arya. But I would just always expect to feel 44 minutes worth of entertainment. Not that it is Not that it's not 36 minutes that feels like 45 or 44, or but I think that's what they aim for on this. I think that's where they kind of like size the episodes to, and how they budget them. And I would just always expect that until they tell us otherwise, until they say this show, these are only 22 minutes. They're really short episodes, and it's this genre that we're doing for whatever reason fits. I would expect them all to be, whether it's Obi-Wan Kenobi, Mando, or Cassian, expect that 44-minute feeling. And then sometimes they'll run long in the edit, or sometimes they'll run a little bit short because they cut down the redundancy, because they don't have to cut to ads like standard television. But I also don't think that like the length of the episodes necessarily means like we're going to be getting more. That's something else to always remember, is like, it might be 36 minutes, but it might be like really good 36 minutes, because Star Wars could run really fast. And there's times when you could run more in 36 minutes than you could run anywhere else. Like in a standard show with Star Wars, by far more story and data. And if it's moving faster and more intense, as the good Lord George Lucas intended, then there we go. That 30 minutes could feel like an hour. So Sithcat said it might be that B2 EMO gets destroyed and Andor somehow moves his consciousness into the Imperial droid. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm going. That like maybe he gets fucked up, and maybe he takes out sort of the brain, the heart, and plugs that into the chassis of the droid, turns it into like a hacking device where maybe he has to pull out B2 EMO's brain and uses that to overtake them, that kind of thing. Because remember, they had that little socket in the back of their head. Remember, K2 takes that like his like hand and like hacks the other one. Might be able to sneak up on one, fucking stick that thing right in there, and then sort of take it over, I would imagine. As the truth says, I remember when Mando season 2 episode 1 came out, Craig's Dragon's episode complaint was it was far too long. Yeah, that was fucking a movie. That was awesome. I mean, that's like truly what I would want from every episode of Mando, is that like 1 hour fucking movie, whatever it was. Like that was fucking rad. And that's like the other thing about the show so far. For the most part, I feel like the shows are just what they need to be for that like length. And my only armchair looking back on it, this could be better critique, is we just got all 3 at once for every arc. I'd be okay even waiting a month, like I said, just to have all 3, because I do think that it's going to be a better viewing experience. I think that like with these kind of shows, like you kind of like lose momentum. The narrative loses momentum when you break it up by a week, and binge watchers in the future won't understand exactly what it was like to watch it the first time unless they watch one a week. So Arya says that's a really cool idea. I didn't think of that. So Junkbox says Ash versus Evil Dead was a 30-minute show that went on a great pace and left you wanting more. I wish more shows were longer, but if the editing works, it works. God, we need Bruce Campbell in Star Wars. I mean, we need him in Star Wars yesterday. Bruce Campbell in the fucking as a smuggler in that world with Lando and Han. I mean, he'd be a fucking character. He would just be so good. Like, I hope that is a personal dream of mine, is that they get him in there, because he's just so fucking funny. That guy's a fucking treasure. And I don't know if he could. He's no spring chicken now, but he's fucking the best slapstick actor of our generation, or of the 80s. Chapter 13 has the perfect length. Which one was chapter 13? I do not remember what 13 is now. So, was chapter 13 the first episode of? No, there was 8. So, yeah. But anyways, well, I think we're gonna call it a show today. I don't think any crazy news broke. I think Arya, who always has my back, would let me know if there was something. And speak of the devil, I just got a Rockstar Games social club message in my email. I haven't got that in a while. But yeah, and we got that Ahsoka series coming out. Like, there's so many different vibes coming in Star Wars. I mean, that's what's keeping me really interested. And I can't lie, Indiana Jones and Willow, to me, it's all Lucasfilm. And I'm really excited for a Willow. Me and Johnny are gonna watch Willow this week. We've been texting about it. If anybody else wants to join in, watch Willow with us, maybe we'll do a little like private video for channel members and Patreon supporters or something like that. But if any of you guys are interested and haven't watched Willow or want to watch Willow with us and sort of do a watch commentary, talk and hanging out kind of thing, it's weird because Johnny's never seen it, so I want to watch it with him, but I also don't want to commentate necessarily and him miss the movie. So I don't know what we're gonna do, but I think it's gonna be fun. So if anybody's in, just hit me up. Junkbox says, when I met Bruce last year, I asked him if he would do Star Wars. Oh, hey, where you been, man? This is unacceptable. I was writing theme songs for everybody. I wrote one for you, and it was like, how'd it go? How did it go, guys? What was it? It was, Baymax, why don't you stay, Max? Where did you go? Where did you go? I'm so lonely without you, Baymax. Oh, Baymax, where did you go? 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 I guess you have a life to live. That's your theme song now for life. At your funeral, that's what will be played. I'm sorry, but that's you now. You are now defined by that. Everybody's theme song. Everybody got a theme song. As a true got a theme song. It went as a true, 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 as a true. And then Arya got one, and it went Arya. Arya's got a song, you know. And then King Chris got one. It was King Chris, hail the king, King Chris. That's how Chris's goes. And you know, Sith Cat got one. It was meow Sith Cat, meow Sith Cat, meow Sith Cat, meow Sith Cat. So you know, I mean, like everybody was getting one today. I mean, Quentin got one. It was Quentin, he's the Q, it's okay to like. Quentin, he's the Q, it's okay to like. Oh, Quentin, I can't quit you, Quentin. You know, Quentin got one. Junkbox got one. It was like, put it in the box. What's in the box? Put it in the box. It's Junkbox. Put it in the box. What box? Put it in the box. Junkbox. Who else in the chat got one? Anybody else in the chat got one? Can't remember if anybody. Oh, Ducky Momo got one. It was a quack quack quack. Ducky Momo. Quack quack quack. Ducky Momo. Quack quack quack. Ducky Momo. Mo. And then Planet Fitness got one. It was like, when you're pumping iron with Hank and you got some abs and you're a tank, there's always pizza day at Planet Fitness now. Yeah, Planet Fitness, they got pizza day now. Let me see, anybody else in the chat? Oh, Tim. He's the good Tim, not the lame Tim, not the one that got to banging out with Bix, the other one that didn't get to, but he's still cooler than that Tim. There was that one. Oh, and we got Superfry 401, Superfry 401, Superfry 401, Superfry. Oh. What else? Who else? We got Thrawn Talk Podcast. Thrawn Talk Podcast. He's not blue, he's a happy guy. He's not blue, he's a happy guy. He's the Thrawn Talk Podcast. Yeah, I think that's pretty much like everybody. I think that's everybody who got a theme song. Oh, Comics Binge got one. Yeah, it was Comic Binge, Cosmic Binge. There's comic books in his brains and he cannot help it. Oh, Comic Binge. It's the Mandalorian Legion. They share one. I can't wait to see what's in Coruscant tomorrow. So I think that's everybody. Oh, Leia Rose. Leia Rose got one too. Sorry, Leia Rose. I didn't forget about you, Leia Rose. Leia Rose's should be what Leia Rose is like a C minor, right? Leia Rose kind of C minor. She's like Leia Rose. She kind of had a Killer Queen thing going on. Leia Rose says hi, then she goes. Leia Rose says hi, then she goes. Leia Rose. So there we go. Now everybody got a theme song today, except for Rob. And we got to play. We're going to end with Rob's theme song. Rob's a sleepy bitch. Little tiny sleepy bitch. Little tiny sleepy bitch. He got too tired to come on the show today because he's tired. I think Rob had an appointment of some kind. But man, and then this is my song. It goes like this. I miss you, Rob. I miss you, Rob. Sometimes I wish you would just paint me like one of Jack's girls on the couch. Because I know how much you like James Cameron. And it's not about like feelings that I've developed for you. It's just about like how much you like James Cameron and how much I miss you when you're not here, Rob. Miss you when you're not here, Rob. I miss you when you're not here, Rob. Please come back. Something like that, But all right, I'm gonna go, guys. I'm not doing too good. I'm not feeling too good. But anyways, thanks everybody for hanging out with me. Thanks everybody who's a channel member. You're welcome for your horrible theme songs. You fucking asked for it. That's what you got. And I'll be back tomorrow, probably 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Talk if there's any Star Wars news. I'll definitely do it. Otherwise, I'll be back late tomorrow night to talk about the episode if you stay up. And if you find that staying up makes the episode worse for you, don't. But I hope Max and Jiggity James join me tomorrow. That would be fun. And I'll see everybody tomorrow. Have a good day. Be cool. Stay in school. All that jazz.
It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go. Hey!
It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go. Hey!
It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go. Hey!
You know you should go.
Come on, let's go.
It's not about spaceships.